Graphene is a unique nanoscale form of carbon that is disrupting legacy materials, bringing step-change improvements in performance across a wide range of industrial and consumer applications. From energy storage and electronics to everyday materials, graphene enables products that are better, stronger and lighter while increasing durability and improving sustainability. Graphene is leading the era of new advanced materials.
The following is a presentation that was given as part of a 2-day virtual Graphene Investors Conference, hosted by the Graphene Council.
Thanks, Terence. So, hi everybody. My name is Alban Chénaud. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Carbon Waters. So we are leading European graphene innovator. We are very pleased to be with you today at the Graphene Investment Meeting. So as you know, discovered 20 years ago, the graphene takes time to deliver its promise. It's looking for a good material product market fit with also a robust production process. So for the next 10 minutes, I will present you how at Carbon Waters we overcome these problems with a unique liquid graphene production platform, but also a very close contact with our future customers. So first of all, it's important to remind that the world is facing very important integrated macro problems. One is climate change with temperature rising, but also ecosystems falling. The second is the presence of environmental toxins in our day-to-day industrial products. And the third is about resource limitations with impacts on the price, but also the availability of raw materials. So there are different solutions to overcome these problems. Advanced material is definitely one of them, and especially graphene. So the graphene promise is huge because in one unique material, you can combine multiple properties. It's a lightweight material, it's strong, it's thermally and electrically conductive, it exhibits barrier properties. But however, the graphene market is facing important drawbacks. So the production of graphene is facing big challenges. Most of the production processes are expensive, energy intensive. The production might not be scalable. The graphene that is produced is not easy to use for the final customers. They contain impurities, but sometimes they are also inconsistent. And finally, the graphene nanopowders, at least in Europe, can be relatively harmful and not sustainable. So at Carbon Waters, we have developed an innovating process that overcomes the drawbacks of current graphene production process. This innovation is protected by 6 patent families and allowed to resume in a unique process, in a unique step, what is actually done in 4 steps in more classical processes. So first is graphite to graphene production. Second is graphene solubilization, stabilization in liquid forms, and then the compatibility with the final matrix. All is done at Carbon Waters in liquid, allowing to get rid of also the nanopowders and the different disadvantages related to them. So it's a tremendous progress. This progress is also compatible with many carbon raw materials, such as mineral graphite, of course, but also graphite from battery electrodes, and also carbon materials that is generated by hydrogen production. After a careful raw material qualification, we then peel the carbon layers, so all in liquid form in graphene, and the graphene is then transferred into the matrix. So the matrix is various and can be water, polymers, and oil. So we call the final dispersion GraphUp. So GraphUp is an easy-to-use performance booster for many applications, and after several years of product development in close relationship with industrials, we are glad to introduce 3 products on the market and 1 under development. So the first one is called GraphEpoxy. It is targeting process optimization for coating formulations, and we have shown with several coating manufacturers that we can replace 3 different types of additives at once with GraphEpoxy and keeping the same protection performances for the coating. Concerning the polymers, we have 2 types of products. The first one is Force, targeting the reinforcement of polymers, both thermosets and thermoplastics, and we achieved up to 60% mechanical reinforcement with several polymer manufacturers with GraphUp Force. We have a second polymer product that is called GraphUp Optim. GraphUp Optim is a unique product in the graphene space. It is designed for the improvement of polymer processes, and we have shown that we can reduce by 60% either the time or the energy necessary for the polymer processing. We have also launched a joint development agreement to develop an additive version for the battery. This is targeting lithium-ion batteries, and we expect to increase by 60% the storage properties in lithium-ion batteries. So these products address major markets with important impacts. So the first one for graph epoxy targets the market of sustainable coatings with a serviceable addressable market of nearly 3 billion euros. For Graphite Force and Graphite Optim, it targets the polymer enhancement market with a serviceable addressable market of 8 billion. So those both markets, they have a CAGR of 8% for the first and 10% for the second. And for the product that is under development, so Graphite Power, targeting energy storage, the serviceable addressable market is 2.5 billion euros with a very dynamic CAGR of 25%. So we have a strong intellectual property in order to protect these innovations. So the first one targets the stabilization of high concentration of graphene as liquid dispersions. This is extremely important to decrease the price of the product, but also to increase the performance. We have a second item concerning the conversion of graphite into graphene with our liquid exfoliation process. Third is about the stabilization of graphene into polymers. So it works in thermosets and thermoplastics. And the last one is about the reduction of graphene-containing polymer processing, temperature, and times. This is very much expected by the polymer market. So we have direct and indirect competitors. Indirect competitors are materials such as zinc or graphite. They are broadly adopted by all industrial sectors. They exhibit a lot of advantages, the ease of use, the cost, of course, but they exhibit also very negative carbon impacts, and they are subjective to resource limitations. So for these reasons, it's becoming very important for many industrial companies to replace them by new competitive products. As presented before, the traditional graphene production process are limited in terms of ease of use and overall cost. It's also an increasing concern about the environmental impact since you need to handle nanopowders in most of them. So therefore, Carbon Water's alternative, GraphUp, is a very interesting solution for many industrial companies. GraphUp offers a huge performance since it can be used at very low concentration, as low as 50 ppm, It's also a plug-and-play system, so you just need to add it to your favorite material and to mix it. So it can be used in polymer coatings and oils. The cost is very limited compared to traditional additives, and we have also a very low environmental impact since we are already ahead of future European regulations. So our products are designed and qualified with our future customers, including coating manufacturers for graph epoxy and polymer and composite manufacturers for Optim and Force. But we're also actively working with end users in energy, automotive, aeronautics, but also the building industry in order to understand and determine the expected impact of graphene for these different value chains. So this journey will not be possible with an amazing team of 16 people, both with academic and industrial experience, covering all the skills necessary for future Carbon Water's development. As an example, Nicolas Caster, number 2, has worked in various management positions in Asia and Europe in different chemical companies. Our management board is composed also of 5 former C-level professionals with strong experience in product development, industrialization, corporate finance, and marketing and sales. So since our customers have already validated our products, it's time for Carbon Waters to increase our production facilities. All our production facilities are designed to produce 100-fold concentrated additives. So we are launching a small-scale first phase industrialization with a capacity of 2 tons per year, and we are moving now also to a second phase with a capacity of 8 tons per year. We are also engaging discussion with tool manufacturers to accelerate this ramp-up with a limited Capex investment. This allows us to generate the first revenue this year for the products, with a strong increase expected in 2026 and after, with a goal of achieving 100 million euros revenues by 2030. So on the right part of this slide, you will see the expected revenue on a more mature commercial stage for the different graphite products. So to summarize, these are the highlights of this investment. I will be very pleased to answer any of your questions or give you some more details. Thank you for your attention.
Great, Alban. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So we have almost 5 minutes or 4 minutes to have a little bit of a chat about this. I think just to recap or cover some of the things that you mentioned in your presentation, even though graphene is used at a very, very small percentage, and I think in one reference you gave was something like 50 parts per million, was that correct?
It is correct.
Yeah, so very, very small. One of the perceptions that graphene has, and has been an obstacle to its adoption, has been that graphene is expensive, right? And that if you look at the nominal cost of graphene materials, end users are cautious because the price of a kilogram or a metric ton of graphene can be perceived as being quite expensive. But when you look at using graphene at such a low percentage, the graphene itself can actually be priced relatively high, but the actual cost to the end user and in the particular application makes it quite competitive with either existing additives that don't perform as well, or even less expensive because you're using so much less of it. Can you speak to that? What has been the reaction from your potential customers or development collaborators about the price performance ratio of graphene?
So I would say that it's quite easy to target high-value applications such as aeronautics, defense, or space. But when you're speaking about automotive applications or building applications, you're facing a lot of concern about the cost. So one of the first objectives we had on the production process is to show that at very low concentration, as you explained, the cost impact for the final customers is the same than the classical additive. And by replacing, so the main advantage of graphene is exhibiting several properties at one material. So you're replacing, in fact, several products in one. So you're decreasing the cost, the overall cost for the final customer.
Another aspect that I'm not sure how you can speak about it or what you can speak about it, that I mentioned in my opening this morning, was that a lot of the development that is taking place with graphene, almost all of it, I would say, is under NDA and confidential and commercially sensitive information, and therefore it's not public. Now, from the Graphene Council's perspective, because we are neutral, we don't make graphene, we do not sell graphene, we have material science expertise, and we can help end user companies identify potential supply chain partners, and we can also help them understand where graphene can be used in their applications. We do see a lot of what is happening on the end user side, which again is under NDA and business sensitive information. Alban, can you just comment, because I do know that you're working with a large customer set. Can you just talk about what you see as the adoption curve? I mean, we've seen an increase in interest from the large scale end users that are allocating time and money and people to developing graphene applications, but most of that is not public.
Yeah, we said there are two big types of applications. One about the big trends, again, in aeronautics, in energy. So these are under NDA, and these are very impactful applications. But we're also dealing with more day-to-day applications with the building industry, for example. And for this, we're working not on development, but we're working on product qualification directly. So we send samples, they try it, and we refine the product. So this is very different according to the, let's say, time to market you're targeting.
For more information on market opportunities and to connect with experts, contact the Graphene Council at theggraphenecouncil.org.